Hi foodies, everybody loves a really nice mac and cheese, but what if you want to take a break from the pasta? You could have a really nice potato gratin, and that's what we're making today. Potato with layers of cream and cheese, so delicious. Let's get into it. So we start off with potatoes. So you want to pick a starchy potato rather than something waxy. And then what we're going to do is peel and then cut it up. So I cut off that piece just so the potato can, stay steady. And then we're going to slice it up. You can use a mandolin if you have one. If you don't, just use your knife and cut some slices that are about 1/8 of an inch thick. You want them to be cut thinly because they're going to be, kind of layering over each other, and you want them to cook nicely and evenly. So I'll let this sit in some water so it doesn't discolor too much, and then I'll work on this sauce. Now when it comes to potato gratin, you don't have to make a roux, which is that thickening agent, with the butter and flour. But if you're using milk, it definitely helps. Sometimes I make a roux, sometimes I don't. I'm just going to show you what I do if I make a roux. So I do the melted butter, then I sweat the garlic for a few seconds just to get it nice and fragrant. And then I will add the flour. Okay, so you can go ahead and do just the butter and garlic and then add the cream if you want to. You don't have to make a roux. However, it does help to prevent curdling and separating. So if you want to be safe, go ahead and make the roux. So to complete the roux, I'm going to add the flour. You want to whisk that in very quickly and carefully and cook it for about a minute, over medium heat, because you want to get out that starchy taste. You would do the same thing, if you were making like your mac and cheese sauce, right? So add in that milk or cream. I'm using cream because it's thicker and richer. So whisk it in a little at a time, and then you will avoid those lumps. If you add too much at once, your sauce is going to be lumpy. So just keep whisking and adding all of the milk or cream. So it's going to get really nice and thick. You want to lower your heat, okay, because you don't want this to dry out too quickly. But we're going to flavor this up. Let's add some freshly minced thyme leaves, and then we're going to go in with some spices. So we have salt and pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, nutmeg, and mustard powder. You can add your favorite spices. If you want to add paprika, that's fine. Just make sure you flavor this up. And you're going to taste to make sure you like the flavor. Because remember, this is going to be the flavor in your dish. You're going to be layering this sauce all over the potatoes. All right? So adjust if you need to. So these were sitting in the water, right? So I'm just going to drain them and pat dry them. You can use a clean kitchen towel or some paper towels just to get out the excess water. Don't obsess over it too much. If you see a little bit of water, that's fine. But try your best just to dry it, as best as you can. If you decided to slice your potatoes last minute, then you didn't soak it in the water. So you won't have as much work as I do, getting off that water. So get your baking dish and put some butter inside there. I just spread some unsalted butter all over it. And then I'm just going to put a little sauce in the bottom of the baking dish. If you want to, you can use a square dish like I'm using here, and then you can do 2 or 3 layers, or you could use a longer dish and then have less than 3 layers. It's really up to you, okay? So for the potato slices, you're just going to layer them, okay? So just fan them out, and then after you put all the potatoes in there, you're going to put the cream on top. So you're kind of layering it like you would a lasagna. So add your potatoes, add the cream mixture, and then a little cheese. As far as the type of cheese, use what you have at home. I like to use cheddar and mozzarella. If I have Gruyere, I'll use that. Today I'm using some white cheddar and mozzarella in between the layers, and then for the topping I'm going to use mozzarella and yellow cheddar. This is my mozzarella and white cheddar, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little in there. then what you'll do is just repeat the steps. After you put this cheese in there, put some more potatoes. Sometimes I like to turn them in the opposite direction just to get the layers nice and even so that they're not leaning to one side. So go ahead and do that. Add your cream mixture again, add a little cheese, and then you can top it off again. So guys, when I was about to add the last layer, this is it, I realized the sauce was a little too thick, so I put it on the stove, added a little cream, whisked it over low heat just to thin it out a little bit. So I have the potatoes there and I'm just gonna pour on the sauce. And then for this last layer, I won't add any shredded cheese. So last layer is done, no shredded cheese added because we're going to do that later. So I'm just going to cover this with foil. Try to, seal it, but don't let the sauce touch the foil. So kind of do the center loosely and then just seal the edges. Bake this in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After baking it with the foil, remove the foil and add your yellow cheddar and mozzarella on top. And we're going to bake this 350 for another 30 minutes without the foil wrap. So the best part of a potato gratin is just that nice crusting around the edges and that golden brown melted cheese on top. So after the 30 minutes, if you feel like it's not bubbly enough and it's not golden and crusty enough, you can just move the baking dish to the top shelf and turn on the broiler. Just keep an eye on it and you'll get that beautiful color like this. Look at that. It is bubbly. You can see the butter. You can see the cream. It's just amazing, guys. And if your potato gratin looks a little bit liquidy and bubbly, don't fret. Don't put it back in the oven because it's going to burn, okay? Just let it sit on the counter and cool and rest for a little bit. And then you'll realize that everything will just settle and look perfectly fine. See, everything is looking a little more solid, but don't worry, it's still nice and creamy on the inside because that's what you want from this dish. You want it to be creamy inside. Okay, so once it cools down, you can add some green onions or parsley if you want and just scoop that. And look at this, it is so good. This is not diet food, guys, this is comfort food. And then take a look at this, guys. See those layers? So delicious. So go ahead and give this a try and let me know how it works out for you guys. See you next time.